Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another session, a real talk session. On my comfy couch, I've got with me Jahan. Say hi, Jahan.
Hello, I'm happy to be back.
Oh, great, Jahan. You know you're one of our favorites. Always welcome on the
Oh,
couch. Okay, Jahan, I wanted to talk about this topic because I know you and I kind of discussed this previously about intentions. When you were on the show, you talked about being intentional in dating. And you shared with me your experience. So we're going to go into all that because I feel that that's something huge now, right? A lot of people are shying away from saying, I want a long-term partner. I want marriage. Like I know a lot of women who it's like taboo, like you're not comfortable stating that up front. So I just want us to have a discussion like, why is that? What is going on now in this, society and dating right now that you can't say what you really want, that you really want something long term. So let's dive into what's really going on. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was, okay, because I know as a female and, sometimes trying to date, that up front, when someone is kind of discussing what is it that you really want, you're kind of hesitant to say, I want marriage. That's something I want in my future. Did you have the similar experience when you were dating?
so as I became older and more mature,
Mhm.
when I realized that is what I wanted, no, I didn't have any reservations about it. I was very open and straightforward to the point, and
Okay.
some of us, we sometimes I believe that we tend not to want to drop the ball,
Yeah.
or like just say that and scare the potential guy away because we were afraid of being alone, right? We were afraid of not getting into the relationship because I believe, let's be honest, I believe a lot of us think that once we get into the relationship, he's eventually gonna marry me. So it is something that will just roll itself. It will just happen. If you think about it, right? There's a lot of women I know that shack up for years and they
Mm.
will tell you that they want to be married someday. And they're living together with their significant other 10 years, 20 years. Sometimes they get married like 30 years in, just
Oh my
dating and living
gosh.
together. Yeah, that happens in the island all the time
Because the
because
thing,
the expectation is one day they will get married.
well, that's the truth. I mean, we know that we do want to get married, right?
Yeah,
But I'm just saying, if you tell a guy that up front, it doesn't mean that I want to marry you. Like, I'm still
right,
getting to know you. It's
right.
not
Oh,
like
I
you're
want to
going
marry you right now
or ever, because
or
like you're still trying to
ever.
get to know the guy. It's just
Right.
that that's something you want in your life, but God, I don't even know you. But I feel like men perceive it as, okay, well, if I say I want marriage and she says she wants marriage, then she's expecting me to marry her, when I think we're just trying to get to know you, but just letting you know this is something I see in my future.
Yeah.
So in your experience, when you've told guys that they weren't, they didn't shy away from it, they weren't like clearing their throat or anything, they were open to it.
So, okay, honestly, I had opportunities where I could have been married before,
Yeah.
and I didn't choose to be married because I did not want to be married.
Okay.
And when I wanted to be married, it was like, obviously, number one, I have to realize that men operate differently from women.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Men think more logically.
Mm-hmm.
Women, we tend to make decisions like heavily based on the emotional aspect of our nature.
Mm-hmm.
So in me thinking that and realizing that, then even more so upfront in dating now versus back then, once I realized, okay, yes, I want to be married,
Mm-hmm.
the first few conversations after you break the ice and you start to warm up, you start to get to know each other, then you kind of asking each other, where do you see yourself here, in career, in relationship? Once that conversation comes up, you have to say it, because then you're going to know if you're wasting your time talking to someone who is not even thinking, that is not even there you know
Exactly. And in your experience, when you've expressed that to guys, were they concerned or were they just cool with it?
so I mean, guys will not show you that they're concerned. They're like, yeah, yeah, because they see you as a beautiful woman. they like you, they want to sleep with you, they're not gonna be like, oh, she wanna get married. I'm just trying to hit it and quit, right? So they
Yeah.
will nod their head and be like, yeah, I feel you, I wanna be married one day. And the son of a gun knows that that's not his intentions, but he will say that. So then now it's up to you to really now be very have really good attention skills, listening skills, sorry, to see if the things that he's saying, not just saying, but the things that he's doing and the things that he's done and where he's at, if it's in alignment with a man that wants to be married. Because a man that wants to be married, you will know. You will know. He will tell you, and then he will show you without even showing you, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Exactly. Go with his actions, right?
So normally they won't really be like, nah. Like some will say, oh, I'm just trying to have fun. And that's the type of people you want. You want people who just be honest. But sometimes you don't get those guys who are just upfront honest. Sometimes you just don't get that. And some women are lucky enough to, when they get on the dating scene, they meet a guy who's actually on the same wavelength as them. But it doesn't always happen that way. You have to.
Most times not.
Most times, right. But then, Nikki, I was talking to my friend about this thing, and it's so crazy that it's so okay. So I practiced the art of Feng Shui.
Okay.
When I was preparing myself to invite someone in my space who also wants to be married and wants the things that I want, like the basic things, right?
Yeah.
And part of the art of Feng Shui is that and that's also in the same arena of being intentional. You create the space of someone will come into your life, right? So are you doing those random booty calls? Do you have a FB? Right? Are you talking to guys on the phone, having just nonsense, useless conversations that's taking up your time? Kind of like, do you have a smell of a guy on you? Yeah, because the guy who's ready for you, he can snip it off. I'm telling you, like, the energy is real. So, for instance, I literally made space in my bathroom.
What? Are you kidding me?
I made space in my bathroom for one day. If that young man comes into my life, then there's space for him to put whatever he wants to put. Wow. I made space in my drawer.
Wow, that's
amazing. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, like there's no mirror facing me right before I go to bed in my bedroom. And
why not? Why not?
Because that's part of the art of Feng Shui. So basically, when you go to bed, you don't want to see two of you going in your bed. That means there's no space for another person because there are already two of you. Whether it's you, there's two people.
Wow.
Two people in that room. And that's what I did that. I mean, I also couple it with obviously prayer and faith and just knowing where I am and what I want. And I'll tell you also, I have no fear of being single and being by myself for the rest of my life.
Preach.
None. None, because I love singleness. I love the act of because there's so much you can do when you're single versus when you're married. But that is truly understanding what being married is.
Oh my gosh, preach.
Like, sis, don't be going disturbing someone's son, and then you not really in tune with what a wife is supposed to be. The sacrifices that you have to make. Sacrifices, your body, your mental, everything. Don't go to disturb nobody's son. Leave the people them with me alone. Really. And like those sons out there, don't be going disturbing nobody's daughter, acting like you're serious. Because now you leave her, you didn't want to marry her. She's emotionally scarred, and then the whole cycle continues.
Oh my gosh, preach now.
Woo. Yeah.
No. You get a cut on that. All right. So now let's
tell me about you. Like, have you been disappointed with like?
I feel that I do get concerned at first when a guy and I speak at first, because I am trying to see what their intentions are and what, compared to mine. And it's like you go on these dating apps and things and you want something long term, and but you still ask. And I really do feel that kind of sense of hesitancy every single time, saying, I feel like I always have to put it like a soft way, like saying, yeah, I like something long term. I feel that I can't abruptly say, I would like to see marriage, until very, very, very recently. And so it took me a long time before I could just tell someone like, look, I'm looking for marriage long term. And it took a lot of me, feeding my mind a bunch and listening to different speakers and relationship experts to know that men who are truly serious and really want something long term are not going to shy away if you say that you want marriage in your future.
Exactly.
It's all these F boys and people that don't take you serious that have an issue with that. So I find that now I'm very upfront, because I know that's what I want, and I know a real person, and I've noticed that somebody who does want that with me is not concerned when I say that.
Exactly.
And I noticed that, the thing women hear a million times that just drives me crazy, as I've stated on a different episode, was the whole, ma, just to be honest, like, I'm just trying to be friends, and, let's see where it goes from there. Or some bullshit on the lines of, marriage is just a piece of paper. Like,
as soon as you hear that, run, Penny, run, because that's not what you want. Just the thing
a
is,
piece
Nikki,
of paper.
But the thing is, Nikki, it's okay if they say that, right? It's okay if they say that. Next. I know it's tiring. It feels like, wow, how many people I have to go on dates with to get the one that's serious? Keep going. If that's something you want, is gonna eventually come around. It will.
I agree. And I'm not the person to do how you were saying, live with someone 10 years, 5, 3. I'm 2, 1. I'm not always my time period. Like, I met a guy recently, and, it seemed like he had so many great attributes, but he didn't want to get married. He had the whole paper thing. I dropped that guy so fast. And even though it was, your mind is like, oh my gosh, this person just seems perfect for me. Like, are you willing to drop someone because of that? Like, to me, when you start living your life, like you said, just happy to be single, you're okay with, if this doesn't work out, I can still live my life. I can still feel fulfilled. I don't need to feel like I have to have a guy in my life. To me, that is so empowering. And I think that is going to lead people closer to the person, they need to be with.
Yeah.
Man,
but it's not easy.
No, it's not. Because then
it's not easy. Because a lot of us don't practice really the art of being alone, being present, because it takes discipline, and discipline is one thing that, like the 2% exhibits that type of characteristic. So being disciplined to be alone, to want what you want, to live within your purpose, and to live your dreams, and to do things like that. And the company of a man or the company of a woman it doesn't really bother you per se. It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing, but we touched on so many things right there. I want to go back on something you said about when the guy will immediately tell you like that's not what he wants, right? And we women, I feel like sometimes we are so shy to say what we want.
Of course.
Sometimes we like to tiptoe. Well, I remember watching one of your episodes, and we were talking about men dating men with children. And also, I think you had mentioned it in another episode with one of your friends. And again, just like most of us out there, we will compromise, and we don't mind, right? We don't mind doing that. If it will just get me the ring, he probably have this type of faults, and it might get me the ring. Let me tell you something, my sister. I have to bring out the Nigerian accent too. These men, they will. Nikki, how many guys you know? How many guys you know that right now, if you close your eyes and you think about it, right now, the wife that they married is not the woman or the type of the typical woman that they dated or they messed with? How many you know? We won't go there.
Right.
But men will tell you what exactly how their life want to be, what it will look like, what they can stand, what they cannot stand, what they will take, what they will sacrifice, this and that. They will tell you down to they will describe the type of woman that they want from head to toe, even rate her on a number. And what we women are doing, if he have a name, or he can ride a bicycle. He don't have car. It's okay. He can ride a bicycle. I'll take him. Yes, because I want to be married. No, hell no. If you know what you want, don't settle. Because in the words of Ashley Alexander, she said, women need to learn the act of self-preservation like a man.
Oh yes.
When she said that, I was like, whoa! I never thought about that.
It's true.
I never thought about that. These men will, Nicole, these men will have a child, a whole human being that have their blood, and they will drop them to live a whole different life and not be even involved in that child's life. Talk about being selfish. Talk about self-preservation. Because guess what? That situation doesn't fit into what they want. That's what we have to do. Yes, when you meet the guy, when you meet him and you're dating him, tell him what you want. Be blunt, be straightforward. I want a man who can do this. I want a man who can fix cars. Can you fix cars? Are you willing to learn? Yes. I want a man who will be able to pay the bills. Because if I want to choose to stay home with the children, then I have that option. Are you willing? Yes. If they want to run and because they're scared, let them run. Oh, let them run. No, my sister, you make. Let me
because my whole issue with this thing is that we are doing all this accommodating and we still not getting what we want. So you might as well say what you really want.
Exactly.
Because you just might get it, right?
Exactly.
I agree with you. I feel like men really do have that gift of I don't want to say being selfish, but looking out for themselves. I think at the end of the day, they're going to ultimately do what's best for them. And women are so much more willing to be accommodating than men. So I think we need that balance. That's something where, we're off on. We got to find that balance. I totally agree. Okay, so I have another question for you. So now I want to touch on the men, because I feel like the men feel like, okay, let's say I tell a woman I want to be married eventually, and I start dating her and I start talking to her and I find out that she's not the one for me. How can they get out of that situation? They're going to feel like, okay, I'm going to break her heart because, we both were thinking about getting married. So now I think guys don't really know how to have that open conversation. So instead, what do? They start calling you less. They start hanging out with you less. They start doing dumb shit so that you could be the one to break it off.
Yeah.
So what can we do so that guys can feel more comfortable? Guys, I'm pleading with you. Please, when you feel that it happens, you find out, okay, we both were marriage minded, but I find out you're not for me. Everyone's not going to be for me. I want you to feel open enough to tell her that. What's some ways they could tell us, Jahan? Could they write a letter? What could they do if they feel that?
Write a letter, send a mail?
Well, what could they do so that, you know what I mean?
Well, people have different personalities, right? Some men, they may be able to know how to have a sit-down conversation, but I think it's not gonna be just one day he's gonna get up and be like, listen, I need to talk to you. This is not working, and you're not the one I want to marry. I don't think it's gonna happen like that. I think I'm not a man, but I will answer in the way I have experienced men. I think it's more so they will start telling you, they'll give little hints, like, babe, how come you don't dress like this no more? You don't wear this no more. You went out and you came back so late. They will just say stuff like that. They will drop it there, drop it here. And you have to be able to know what they're actually saying, because they don't just, blah, 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 like how we do.
Yes.
How we over communicate. They don't. They will just be, oh, you slacking. They'll say something like that, you slacking.
But the thing too is that when we notice the change and we come to them and we say, I noticed that you're not really yourself. We're not hanging out like we used to. We're not talking like we used to. We give them the opening and they still won't say, because again, they're so fearful, I think, of hurting our feelings.
Yeah, they are.
Verbally, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't, because they
So
like you, they love you, they don't want to hurt you, but it's like they feel conflicted because they really do. It's kind of like what I was saying. They will preserve their self. The feeling of, I don't want that. I don't want what I see with this relationship. That's not what I want for marriage. But I love this girl. Like, I admire her. I don't want her to look at me as a beast. So the middle ground for them is just to tippy-toe backwards and stop calling like how they used to, stop taking you out, like stop giving you compliments, and maybe even start cheating.
yeah, of
And then,
course.
yeah,
Whatever it takes so that the girl would break it off.
yeah.
But you know, the thing too is that I think women have to take ownership on this too, because when men and women do break up, we do like blame it on the guy. Like the guy gets so much of brunt, you know, of when things break up. And it's like, if the guy came to us and nicely said, you know, I don't see this working out with us, you know, because of X, Y, and Z, you know, girl will come to us and what she'll tell her girlfriends. You know, after 2 years, I did this with him. I did this and this and this, and he's such a jerk. And then all the girls will be like, yeah, he's such a jerk. But the thing is that the guy is being honest. But, you know, I don't know if we make them feel comfortable enough that they can straight out say that and we just be real, like, okay, it didn't work and move on. You know what I mean? But I think, go ahead. But I'm saying,
we also, because men are, the way men will communicate that they're not really liking what's going on. Again, because we don't see that those were hints. We didn't see that it was a hint for the end.
Yes.
And the end comes, like, yo, I did not see that coming. Like, stuff was going well. I mean, he took me out for my birthday.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. That was just last month.
Right.
Like, wow, like, Jim, you know, like it comes really as a surprise. But was it really a surprise? And women and men, again, we communicate so differently. For instance, in my current relationship, I over communicate just in general. Sometimes it depends on the topic. But I said to him, like, listen, babe, if I start to feel away, and I cannot tell you what away means, but if anything makes me feel away, I'm gonna tell you. Like, I'm not the chick that's gonna blindside you. Me just breaking up or leaving without you knowing. I will let you know. You know, you did this, and I felt, and for me, to him, it's like, if you are able to do the same, please do. If you don't know how to communicate that in that way, let me know what your communication style is, so I can pick up on it.
Yes.
Yeah, I told him, because listen, ain't nobody got time to play.
You know,
ain't nobody got time to waste.
You make me think about that. Communicate, like so many of our episodes, communication comes up. Communication.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if men and women if both people meet each other and they're like, okay, we're both marriage minded, but if at some point one of us feels like, okay, we determine we're not the one for each other, let's be open about it. Let the other person know so that we can move on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they were to have those kind of open discussions up front, I'm wondering if people would feel more comfortable about it. What do you think?
I think absolutely they would.